What up, y'all? It's DJ Erica. Thank you guys for tuning in again to another episode of my podcast. Man, Jay-Z just got one step closer to getting his civil lawsuit dismissed in regards to this whole Diddy situation, man. Now, if you guys aren't following the story, I'm pretty sure you guys know the story. If you guys aren't living under a rock, earlier at the end of last year, because we're in 2025. Happy New Year, by the way, to everybody. I hope you guys are doing great. Okay, let's just get to the point here. So there was a lawsuit filed against Jay-Z, against Diddy, from a woman with allegations saying that she was taken advantage of in the early 2000s at a very, very young age of 13. She was making claims that allegedly this situation happened in September on the 7th in 2000. After the VMAs, she made claims that she actually traveled from Rochester all the way down to New York City for the award show, and she was directed by a limousine driver that there was an event happening at Diddy's house. This lady also made claims from there that this limousine driver took her from Radio City Music Hall all the way to a residence that was like a big mansion with a U-shaped driveway. And she decided to go into this big mansion party, a big white house at that, in New York. And there was a lot of things going on, a lot of illicit things going on. And from there, she had made claims that she had this situation happen with the two moguls. And of course, due to YouTube guidelines, I'm not going to go into details, but she filed under that and filed a lawsuit with Tony Busby. And of course, Tony Busby, he's handling literally every Diddy case that is being filed pretty much for the most part. There's been it seems there's been like 100 lawsuits filed on this man. And currently Diddy is still locked up. And it's so many lawsuits that at this point, allegedly Diddy is fed up and he has locked himself inside his jail cell. I reported that during the Christmas week, allegedly Diddy, according to news reports and my cited sources, and it was the Daily Mail that reported that allegedly he had a meltdown and was requesting for prison guards to take him to the hospital because he allegedly was in shock that he was still in prison and he still has to wait to go to trial this year in May. Now let's get back to Jay-Z's situation. So from there, of course, Jay-Z put out a statement. He called Tony Busby an ambulance chaser in a cheap suit, and he told him he's going to show him what type of celebrity he really was. So he's not like all the other celebrities. He's going to show him. So, of course, there was a press conference. Alex Spiro, he is the head attorney of this entire case for Jay-Z, representing him. And he filed some documentations to the judge named Judge Torres, okay, and Elisa Torres. And he was requesting, based off of this woman's news interview, okay, because this woman did a news interview. And during the interview, she cited many inconsistencies throughout her story. One big inconsistency, she made a claim that after she had this encounter with Jay-Z and Diddy, she ran off and she called for the assistance of her father, who picked her up from a location and brought her home. Her father made a statement saying he did not know anything about the incident, basically trying to say that he had no clue that anything like this happened. He doesn't even recall driving that far out. Now, remember, Rochester to New York City is a 6 to 8 hour drive, depending on how you get there. It could be up to 5 hours on a short drive, but it's pretty far. And it's like, how could her father not remember that? Another thing that his attorney tried to file under was, of course, the inconsistencies within the interview. She also stated that the person who drove her down there was no longer living as well, so they couldn't testify or say that they were a witness or bear witness to taking her down to New York City and say, oh, yes, I did that, because they were no longer here. Another thing was also she stated that she was hanging out with the Madden brothers, and their representatives came out stating that no, they were actually on tour allegedly, and they had proof of receipts to show that. Okay, they had an alibi and they were on tour and they were making money in a different state. They weren't even in New York at that time. So all of these things came out, and this led to Jay-Z's attorney filing a motion for a dismissal request. But to see what happened was the judge decided to deny the initial request. Why? Because she felt like, Spiro was being a bit too aggressive and he was focusing on the wrong things more so. He didn't follow the proper protocols that is required for following the dismissal. She also clarified, of course, because Jay-Z and his attorneys wanted to find out who the woman was and identify her to the public, because she is still filing under being anonymous. And they were requesting that her identity be revealed, and the judge ruled against that and stated that this woman, she's at high risk. She allegedly suffers from autism. She also has a high risk of possibly being harmed at the hands of this. Because remember, Diddy is the head of the case, right? This is the whole thing. And Jay-Z just got added on to the case as a name. So, Diddy is currently locked up due to the judge saying that he's a danger to the public, and with more allegations stating that he has been intimidating witnesses, allegedly, and intimidating alleged victims and stuff like that, who may speak on what was going on during the years that all of these alleged situations happened. So from there, he filed a motion. All right. And he was basically trying to highlight these inconsistencies. He was more so, I would say they were more so mudslinging each other, and the judge didn't like how aggressive he was, saying, "Oh, you need to move this case forward fast." Basically just trying to rush it along as what one can interpret it. And Judge Torres, she didn't like that. So with that, she denied their request, okay, for a dismissal, and she said that the case can move forward, and the alleged victim, the plaintiff, can move forward anonymously, the person who's being represented by Tony Busby. And Tony Busby is the one that filed the case, and Jay-Z and the attorneys have been going back and forth ever since. It's just been so much going on. So since then, after that was filed, the judge denied it. Jay-Z attorneys decided to refile for a dismissal. But this time, he took a different approach and stated that the case should be able to be thrown out, the civil case, because this isn't a thing where he's going to trial or anything like that. It's literally like a civil case, or you could file a lawsuit under the Gender Motivated Violence Act, right? That's what it's called, Gender Motivated Protection Violence Act. And they had a deadline where people could file lawsuits, and this is the same law that Cassie used when she filed her lawsuit against Diddy. And of course, we end up seeing the videotape and everything else, and she ended up getting a lump sum settlement less than like a day after it had broke the news that she had filed this lawsuit against him. So they pretty much filed under the same jurisdiction, under the same Protection Act. But what happened is that Sparrow made it clear that reportedly that this plaintiff filed outside of the statute of limitations. And also, at the time of another act, when it was instated in 2000 in December, the alleged encounter happened, and the alleged violation of this woman what supposedly had happened in September 2000, which would negated her case and made it so she couldn't actually file under those acts of protection. So since then, he filed that, and Judge Torres made a reply today, which is January 2nd, approving his request to file for a dismissal of case. Now, when I say file for a dismissal of case, that doesn't mean that the case is dismissed. It means that Jay-Z is getting closer and closer to the case possibly being dismissed and having the opportunity to prove his case. Now, of course, since his attorney filed the documentations, Tony Busby, which is the plaintiff's attorney, came out and tried to argue his request for dismissal, and basically went over the same legal jargon of the rights and protections of women under the Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act of New York, and basically was talking about different laws and different court cases at the Supreme Court that basically made it so that would make it so it would be a possibility for the judge to move forward with this case, even if the statutes of limitations has expired. Okay. So from there, he sent that, and that was sent literally on New Year's Eve, on the 31st, this form was sent. Then from there, his attorney sent a dismissal request to the judge, and the judge reviewed both of their documentations, and she decided to rule in favor of Jay-Z's attorney for Jay-Z, granting this dismissal motion. So it's a thing where he can file. All right. It says, and this is shout out to Meg Coonan, this is my source, and she is a legal analyst. She says Judge Torres has granted lawyer Alex Sparrow request to file a dismissal motion in a lawsuit that accuses Jay-Z of blanking a young girl in 2000 alongside Diddy. This is over the objection of the woman's attorney, Tony Busby. The motion is due on February 6th. Now, this is the order request that was been filed and been sent out to the media. I'm pretty sure TMZ and everyone else is going to report on it. Judge Torres has made it clear. All right. She said the court has reviewed the defendant, Sean Carter's letter seeking leave to file a motion to dismiss plaintiff's amended complaint and plaintiff's letter for opposition. Accordingly, Carter's request to file a motion to dismiss plaintiff's amended complaint is granted. By February 6, 2025, Carter shall file his motion. By February 28, 2025, plaintiff shall file her opposition papers. And by March 14, 2025, Carter shall file his reply, if any. The clerk of court is respectfully directed to terminate the motion at ECF number 55, so ordered. So this is what was filed by the judge, basically saying you guys can go ahead, you guys can move forward and file a dismissal motion. And from there, she's going to review it. Now, of course, with this granted judgment, I'm just trying to see how Tony Busby is going to reply to this, because he's arguing, saying, okay, if he's saying that this is outdated and these laws are outdated, how could you move forward? And, he's just basically trying to put out an argument. Pretty much he's trying to put out an argument and say that even though this outside the statutes of limitations, there is still more loopholes where he can civilly be held accountable. Jay-Z can civilly be allegedly held accountable if he is allegedly guilty. And if the judge does not approve this dismissal motion, okay, that means that Jay-Z would have to go to trial in a civil case. So he would have to prove his innocence in civil court and show that this woman was not telling the truth. And as I stated before, there was a lot of inconsistencies in her news story when she did do her news story, and that was the original filing for dismissal request from his attorney, which was denied because there was a lot of violations in it. The filing, he did not allegedly grant the plaintiff enough time to reply. He didn't file under the proper code and stuff like that. And the judge wasn't too fond of that, and also the way that he was pressuring her and trying to rush the situation along. But it looks as if she's pleased with Sparrow's presentation and request for motion for dismissal, and she read over his documentations and his previewing documentations on why the case should be dismissed. So now she's granting him the opportunity to make it a actual filing request for dismissal. So we're going to see how this plays out. It is Friday, and of course the courts are closed after Friday. So any more updates, I will try to keep you guys posted on my actual site. I will be out off of here for like a week. I got things to do, so this is going to be a little bit of time before I do my next pod, but I'm just letting you guys know what the business is right now. So I just want to know your thoughts about this. Make sure you guys hit the sub button if you guys are tuning in worldwide. I want to say thank you guys for listening to my podcast. There has been a lot of people that has been downloading the show worldwide, and I like to give shout outs to all of my listeners that's listened to me globally. I appreciate you guys, and every time I look up, there's new listeners. But yeah, so in regards to Diddy situation, they're saying that Diddy has received so many lawsuits, and at this point, allegedly, like I said in my previous pod, he is pretty much has been locked in his jail cell. And right before the holidays, right after Christmas, he had allegedly had a meltdown, according to the Daily Mail, requesting to be taken to the hospital. And this was reportedly denied and things of that nature. And from there as well, allegedly, Tony Busby filed documentations on him for more suits of alleged victims, and he has allegedly locked himself inside his cell to avoid being served those suits. And this was a complaint that was filed in the courts to another judge, not to Judge Torres, but another judge, because that's a different case. So there's so many cases against Diddy at this point. He will be on trial in May. He's currently still in jail in Brooklyn at the Metropolitan Detention Center, and he's at the same location as alleged unaliver of United Healthcare CEO suspect, Luigi Mangiani. So this is just, that whole facility has a lot going on up in there. Now, if you guys want to hear more of an unedited, uncensored show, I'm going to be doing more audio uploads without showing my face. I'm going to show my face, of course, on YouTube, but it's like, it's only so much I can say on YouTube. So a lot of the stuff that I read, it has to be super dumbed down, super censored and stuff, because got to follow the guidelines. Meanwhile, in other news, and I want to hear your thoughts about this whole Jay-Z case. Do you guys think this case will be thrown out? Do you guys feel like this is a big victory right now for Jay-Z? I just, I was sitting there thinking, like, if she grant the dismissal motion, then you think she'd be approving for the case to be dismissed or dropped, right? According to Megan Cuniff, not all judges require for an attorney to get approval before filing a final dismissal request, but they're saying that she does that. So yeah, we're going to keep you guys updated. For what I know, there's a lot of legal jargon and stuff, and I'm not a legal analyst, so you guys can look that up. And let's get to the next topic. So Joe Budden, man, I don't know what's going on with Joe Budden. I'm pretty sure you guys know who he is. I mean, he's like one of the biggest podcasters in the world. He got charged with lewdness. Because and mind you, I just want to say this real quick. Joe Budden was on his podcast, and he made jokes and stuff saying that he sleptwalked. Well, he was telling the people the truth. He had issues. He was joking about him having an issue with sleepwalking, and he was talking about how he woke up in his manager's room, in his manager's bed, like trying to figure out how the heck he got up in there, and how he had these series of blackouts where he's sleepwalking and ending up places where he doesn't even know how he even got there, because he blacks out, he goes to sleep, blacks out, he gets up, and he's just start traveling all over the place, leaving his home and things of that nature. Now, before we get into what he's been charged with, now recently it came out that his entire podcast, that his whole podcast had to be moved from his previous facility. They had a great setup. It was really nice. I like the window. I just like how they had it set up. And now they're back to being in like a real plain room. And, Joe Budden basically said that the reason why they had to move the podcast is because the people in the town that he lived in said that it was against their policy to allow people to podcast and do shows and stuff like that in the facility. So they filed a complaint or whatever, and that led to him leaving and being moved or evicted out of that area. Then right on the heels of New Year's Eve, news break that Joe Budden was charged with lewdness because of this. So I'm going to read it, and I'm going to try to keep it as censored as possible for the tube. It says Joe Budden was charged earlier this month after authorities claimed, and mind you, let me just say this, the documentation is dropped on the 31st, but the incident happened like at the very beginning of, on the 31st of December, and the incident happened at the beginning of December, right? And on his podcast, Joe made a joke about him walking around with, freely. You understand what I'm saying? I have to say it for YouTube, freely. He was walking around freely, and that was his thing, sleepwalking freely. And it's not a thing that he seemed to be proud of, but it's just what it was, okay? It says Joe Budden was charged, and this is via TMZ credit. Joe Budden was charged earlier this month after authorities claimed his neighbors saw him outside their apartment on Ring camera footage, completely, you know what I mean, like with nothing, right? Okay. We'll just keep it there, okay, because I got to keep it censored. According to the court documents obtained by TMZ, Budden was charged on December 4th in Edgewater, New Jersey for lewdness. Now you look up what lewdness means and you guys will understand that further, okay? It says Edgewater Police Department released a statement on December 30th about the incident after the news of the charge broke online, explaining officers were called to an apartment complex in the area approximately at 7:21 a.m. EPD says the caller was alerted by a Ring camera that someone was outside their home. When they looked at the footage, they claimed Budden was standing outside free in his birthday suit. That's better, right? In his birthday suit. Yeah. The caller claims, okay, video shows Budden attempting to enter a code into the resident's door keypad several times before heading back into his apartment building, which is in the same building. The court complaint says the resident and 2 juvenile daughters observed the offense live on their phones. By the way, Budden recently talked about strife with his neighbors, claiming he was kicked out of the apartment for continuing to record episodes of his podcast there. He's also previously said on his pod that he was a sleepwalker. All right. So this is like, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to show you what I can show you of the actual write-up from the police with these claims on him. And it's just like, what in the world? And of course, I'm going to let you guys know what the attorney had to say, but I'm going to read the actual report that was released by Edgewater Police Department, because of course TMZ, they do verbatim stuff. So it says December 4th, 2024, approximately 7:21 a.m. The Edgewater police were dispatched to an apartment complex for the report from a resident that a man was standing outside of their apartment door in his birthday suit. Okay, they said completely in his birthday suit. I'm paraphrasing because I gotta follow guidelines. The caller recognized the man as a neighbor, Joseph Budden Jr., a 44-year-old male. The caller was alerted to Budden by their doorbell camera. The video depicted Budden attempting to enter a code into the door keypad several times before entering his own residence across the hall. As a result of the police investigation, Budden was charged with lewdness. All right. 2C 14-4A, disorderly persons offense on a complaint summons. Chief Martin states that these charges are merely accusations and that the defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. And then since all of this came out, right, Joe Budden went on his X page and he posted a response pretty much saying like the people they was being y'all, he said y'all so dramatic now, because everybody was like clowning him and making fun of the fact that he was out here like this, and just people were appalled at the fact that this dude was running around here allegedly being free, and it was on camera. And I still have to say allegedly because I didn't see the video footage and I don't want to see the video footage, but I'm gonna keep saying allegedly. So since then, his attorney has wrote TMZ in reply to the whole situation and said Mr. Budden is saddened by the police Chief Martin's press release. Mr. Budden has been waiting weeks for his cross complaint to be processed, which include substantially more serious charges, include possible felony charges against the person behind these charges against him. The chief has, in our opinion, sat on those, but instead used his time to gain some public free publicity for himself. Chief Martin should seek publicity by doing notable policing and not inflaming disorderly person allegations. So Yeah, so this is a statement. She also stated that the allegations against Mr. Budden are a minor charge, not resulting in an actual arrest. So I'm pretty sure you guys are wondering, like, he got charged with this. Why doesn't he have a mugshot? Well, that's the reason why, because it's more so like a citation. A charge Mr. Budden is looking forward to beating in court on the merits, not in the press. The chief comments are reckless, in our opinion, racially motivated. So he's blaming race as the reason why they decided to put out the press release stating that this incident happened. Our research has not shown a single press release on a disorderly person charge on the police website this year. His choice to single out Mr. Budden, in our opinion, is self-motivated and based off of Mr. Budden's race and celebrity status. And they said that he's due in court this month, because they wrote this in December 31st. So I'm guessing that he's due for a court case, this month, which is January. So yeah. Now, this is what I want to say to Joe Budden. And this is a weird, awkward conversation, but this seems to be like a medical problem for him. If, it was the case that he was having an incident where he was sleepwalking, I just feel like if that's the reason he got evicted, it makes perfectly good sense, especially with this involving younger people. This is and if this is a consistent problem, I'm just trying to figure out what is he doing medically to get him some help with this issue. Is he going to see a doctor? I just would hate, and like, just to think about the light of this is just pure madness. It really is. And if, the attorney is saying like this is a honest mistake and he has this and this, I just wonder, has he ever sought help so he won't be sleepwalking and doing this random, night walking thing and morning walking freely up and down the street, because that can be very dangerous. Waking up, and he's walking around freely. He said that he walked into the wrong room or wrong house before during this incident. Luckily, it was someone that he knew, which was like his manager. But imagine him walking into somebody else's house like that. He's going to be on the news for all the wrong reasons, right? I think that he needs to really take a break from potting and try to get his life organized, try to figure out what triggered this alleged incident, try to get help with his sleepwalking issue that he alleged that he has. There's pills for everything. I can assume that there's pills to make sure or prevent a person from being active while they're sleeping and getting up to the point where they're sleepwalking and doing things that they don't remember. Hopefully he's being evaluated for that. And, because he should be very lucky that the door didn't open, because I don't know what the laws is in New Jersey where this happened and on stand your ground, but they could have assumed that he was awoke doing this, like seriously in his right mind. And he could have walked in the door and somebody could just, okay. And I gotta say, and I'm sorry for everybody who's listening on Spotify and stuff. You guys probably want me to talk a particular way, but I'm doing a double record and I'm specifically doing this video for YouTube. So I'm trying to make sure that I walk around a lot of things, because censorship is king these days. You can't really get into that. But yeah, y'all share your thoughts about that situation. I just feel like, and what's also shocking to me is like Joe Budden put up on his Instagram that his podcast had like 100 million views the past year. And I don't know, I don't pocket watch people, but when they say apartment, I was shocked that he didn't actually have a house, because he's like one, if not the biggest podcaster of our generation, of our demographic as a culture. So it's just shocking that he's out here getting evicted out of his apartment for what he said podcasting, when it's coming out allegedly is from this incident possibly. I just was, when I first heard it, I was like, interesting. Like, why don't he just, buy some permanent a permanent studio? It clearly he's gonna be podcasting for. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be for forever. Like, I just don't understand why they have not invested that. And I don't know. I don't pocket watch people, and streaming money is really no money. I don't know if you do sponsors. I don't know exactly how the podcast is making money off of YouTube, these YouTube checks. Maybe they just ain't cutting it for him, but I'm hoping that he's able to implement something so the podcast is solidified and can't nobody interrupt. Because me as a podcaster working in media, I like the fact of being able to be comfortable, sit down, talk, and say the things that I want to say in peace without having to worry to be being thrown out somewhere else. And also I feel like if he moves to a different location, set up, put a gate up, then it'll make it so these situations could possibly be avoided. Another thing, he should put a indoor alarm. So if he try to walk out his house, it'll go off and it'll wake him up, right? I don't know. Has anyone how many people out there are sleepwalkers? I'm not a sleepwalker. I don't think I ever recall anybody telling me I was sleepwalking. I talk in my sleep, but I never got to the point where I just was walking around just doing random stuff. I don't recall that. But if anyone knows what sleepwalking actually does to you, to the point where you tell me in the comment section. Tell me in the comment section. So in other news, we got Dame Dash. He's got some things going on. They're saying Dame Dash jewelry targeted by money hungry lawyers allegedly. And this is a report from allhiphop.com. According to documents obtained by All Hip Hop, the plaintiffs suing the Mogul Dash director Josh Weber and Muddy Water Pictures LLC has submitted a request to Judge Robert Luberger. Damon Dash, co-founder of Rockefeller Records, continues to face mounting legal issues. According to documents obtained by All Hip Hop, the plaintiff suing the Mogul Dash director Josh Weber and Muddy Waters Pictures LLC has submitted a request to a judge in the Southern District of New York. The letter pertains to the enforcement of two outstanding judgments totaling $823,284.71 against Dash, allegedly. The plaintiff seeks an order requiring Dash to produce corporate ownership documentations related to his business, Lebanon Improvement LLC, Ocean East Improvement LLC, 1996 Songs LLC, and BlackRock LLC, and deliver them to the United States Marshal. Additionally, they request a court order for the sale of Dash's personal jewelry, identified as Exhibit A, at a public auction. At another auction? Oh my goodness, this is insane. Because he just auctioned off Rockefeller. His last share in Rockefeller was auctioned off, and it was like purchased by New York State because nobody wanted to buy it. It's crazy. At a public auction to satisfy the judgment. The pieces of jewelry include one gold necklace, one gold Dame necklace, one gold Dusko necklace, one gold watch, 3 gold rings for his hand, 2 Rockefeller necklaces, 1 set of diamond earrings, 1 set of gold earrings. He's been seen wearing on those various pieces of jewelry on social media. The letter further cites New York legal provisions that allow for enforcement of money judgments against a debtor, personal property, including corporate shares and transferable assets, Dash ownership interests in businesses, and high value jewelry as evidence by social media posts and prior court decisions are subject to execution and public sale. The plaintiffs argue that such sales are legally supported, referencing Dash promotion of Rockefeller shares in associated jewelry. They request the court's assistance in facilitating the execution and sale of these assets to fulfill the outstanding judgment debt. So they're basically trying to ask for his signature Rockefeller chain. His signature Rockefeller chains. They want him to turn that in to pay off this alleged debt. Oh my goodness. It says last October the public auction was set. The public auction was set for the following month. The proceeds for the auction was supposed to be allocated to numerous creditors, including $193 for earmarked for child support and $1.7 million for unpaid state taxes. Additional payments were to be reserved for Weber. Then it also states that photographer Monique Bunn had a $12,000 claim, and further payments are to be directed to cover Dash outstanding tax liabilities, allegedly, which exceeds $7 million overall, allegedly. The auction follows ongoing tension with fellow Rockefeller co-founder Jay-Z and former friends have been embroiled in separate disputes over the control of Hope's album Reasonable Doubt, Rockefeller's most valuable asset. This is crazy. This is crazy. And it's like, I remember Dame Dash when he did his interview on the Breakfast Club years ago, and he was just basically telling everybody that the best life you can live is like not basically being employed by anybody and being your own boss and stuff. And it just seems as if he's going through a lot, and it's like, man. And then I was hearing more rumors that allegedly, his other businesses that he's trying to promote, his brand app could possibly be up for sale as well if these judgment totals are not paid. Man, this is crazy. I hate to see this for Dame Dash, and I'm gonna say this in this segment. I enjoy his actual content. I downloaded his American New app, trying to support it. I watch his channel and stuff. I'm just hoping that he can redirect his life after losing his entire empire. I feel like he never actually got over losing Rockefeller. And I feel like although he's doing the work that he's doing right now, I think he need alliances and people to really support him and have a reason to purchase with him to help alleviate all these taxes alleviate, not the taxes, because right, allegedly, that's supposed to be not reading. He got a lot going on. And I'm not here to just, but I just really hope that he's able to figure all of this out and get his brands realigned, because I see him all over social media. I seen him on a dialogue venting off. He just seemed like he's been through a lot in life, and he's, been hurt. And he just, there's a lot of business decisions that he made that were not the best. And what I'm learning from him based off of the story that he's told is, let your friends be your friends and let business be business. And if you discover a talent, get it in paperwork and sign it off if you're helping somebody, because it's like he discovered Kevin Hart. He discovered Kanye West and gave him an opportunity. He discovered Jay-Z. And if we go through these three people, clearly Jay-Z alone is worth $2 billion. Like, I'm pretty sure Kevin Hart is probably worth close to $1 billion because he's in movies. And of course, it's just like billions of dollars that he just, and Kanye West was a billionaire until, but he's filthy rich. And I don't know what's in his account, but based on the judgment, it seems like he's still struggling financially. So, for me as a person, what I'm learning is that if you are helping somebody, help them and then leave it as that, try to keep it. But if you really trying to jump all in with a person, get paperwork done to make sure that you're set and that your bills and stuff will be paid in the near future, even if you fall out with the person that you're working with, and try to make better business decisions, and just really, don't do it off of, I just want to see you do well, because it doesn't really work out in that favor. I'm not saying, because the stuff that he's saying in regards to constantly being burned business-wise, that's pretty much been his MO, the past few months, is him just talking about, being burned in business, working with various people, not being able to get supported, even though he has helped propel and uplift another person's career, and I just feel like he made a lot of bad business decisions, and it's really coming back to haunt him financially. But I feel like, you know, I don't think they should, take his businesses away, because how can he pay back any debt if you guys are trying to take away his brands and his name and stuff like that? And also, I would tell him to stop wearing jewelry, because I mean, they're clocking everything on the internet these days. You can't even be flashy. This is in the early 2000s. You can't be flashy no more with what you got. People are looking for it. People want it. And if you owe them something, they're going to try to go for it, because that's just how things go, man. But it's sad to see him going through this process. I'm not going to say end like this, because he's still alive at the end of the day. He seemed like he got a nice size house that he's living in. He's always showing it off all over the internet. So hopefully he can try to figure out a business plan and really, stick to it and get his stuff out there. I would personally try to rebrand and remarket and try to push it into a positive light. And also, I seen him on our dialogue, and he's like, Art asked the questions about his former business partner, so he talks about him. But I feel like you should be able to control your narrative when you do your interview and just flat out tell them, look, I talked about this person enough. I'm not talking about them no more. And really take the time to self-promote, like really try to promote your brand and what you got, because I've seen him on Art of Dialogue, and I think he only spoke on American New one time, and majority of the clips that was posted on Art of Dialogue, they're pretty much trying to get the clickbait that they want, which is going to incorporate his former business partner for them to be able to, get the views and stuff that they want. And hey, look, I talked about him earlier in his case earlier, but, I'm doing news reporting, and, many people are saying that, he's being a chatty patty for discussing his life and the things that he's allegedly dealt with. But he has been discussing other people's situations and stuff. And if YouTube is paying your bills, it ain't nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be front of. We all out here getting paid. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay your bills. It's hard out here. But I would say, in regards to his brand, he needs to really, if they were going to let him, this is my thing, because I know what it is with this YouTube platform. People don't like promoting other people's channels. But I feel like if he's going to be doing those interviews and he knows for a fact he's going to be pulling six figures like that, he should be getting a big bag, which I assume he probably is, because I don't think he's that of I don't think he's a bad businessman like that. But he should also make it so he can promote his stuff. And if I was him, when he was doing that interview, I've been wearing an American New t-shirt. Even if the dude was talking about we don't promote other people's channels. Dude, I'm helping you eat. So I'm going to wear this American New t-shirt and like try to get into self-promoting all the time. So you can really go from having 100,000 app downloads to 1 million, and really, you need to start charging people. Like, I don't know, you got the ads within the app. It's a network, whatever. But I would say just remarket. Instead of us seeing clips of him just basically talking about all of his hardship, that he should just start producing some brand new material, get a good team together. And although people are saying that he's blackballed, there's a lot of people that may not be the most famous that's like, mid-market, that still has respect for Dame Dash, that will work with Dame Dash, that's film producers that will be honored to work with this man and really help him prepare and build his brand overall. Because for one, I respect the work that he's done, and a lot of people have, but I feel like fans are just disappointed in the comment section, because they feel like, man, they truly believe that he can do better than that. And I think that if he has the actual support and the outward support of the community, he can go from 100,000 app downloads to 1 million. And I feel like that's the big thing with our community, as a Black community. We oftentimes try to bring down our own people to try to rise up, and instead of critiquing and also trying to help. You get what I'm saying? So we can critique this person, but how can we help them? Like, y'all see him struggling. Y'all seen that he made these mistakes. Y'all said that he made bad business decisions. But what do you want to do? Do you want to keep scrutinizing him, or are you going to help out? Myself, I helped out. I decided to download the man's app. And I'm hoping that he can see and focus more so on the 100,000 viewers that he has, and keep on focusing on growing it, investing in marketing, and trying to get better content on there, because I feel like the quality on American New could be so much better. You know what I mean? It can be the next Netflix, you know, but I just feel like he needs to get with the right team and the right people, and he could take it all the way to that next level. And it's going to take time, but if he can get some ads done, get some new previews done, get some new content done, just start over, you know, and remarket it and really push it out there versus just saying it. Cause like people want to see the face of the brand, and we know he's the face of the brand. He's out here talking to people. But I feel like if he start doing more previews of the things that's supposed to be featured on his show, also add more value to his app by making it so we're not getting everything on YouTube from the man. If you're going to be going in on people, because I know YouTube pay you whatever, but I think his end goal is to be in-house. And for any content creator, we all know if we trying to go in-house by ourselves, we got to cut certain things out. Like right now, I'm doing all this and I'm on camera right now because I'm trying to build my following. But as I build my following, I'm directing you guys to go to Spotify and go to other distributors to listen. I'm also telling you guys to go to my website for entertainment news and world news and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit me when I know that my core followers and fan base follow everything that I do. So hopefully they can make that happen with American New, and he can alleviate the taxes that he the taxes and whatever money that he owes. I just feel like with the proper team, it's possible. It's not impossible, you know? But yeah, it's just sad to see him having to go and do these interviews and talk about pretty much the same stories over and over and over again to collect a check when he's literally made like 3 billionaires, and who else he done invested in, we don't know. Like, he has so much potential, and for his age, you know, he's an older guy, but he's not too old. I would just try to, you know, just try to start from square one and push the brand out, you know. And also, if he's doing an interview, push your brand, man. Like, where that American New, like, you trying to get those apps downloaded, get you that million? Because if your views on Art of Dialogue was 600,000, 700,000, all 700,000 of those viewers is his new audience. You could easily be at 1 million downloads by now if he was wearing an American New t-shirt. So, I mean, I'm not wealthy, but I just feel like if you going for a throttle with a brand, wear that brand and try to sell that as much as possible until you can't no more to get what you want, and try to move it fast, because you know you older and stuff. It's a new market. It's a new market. You know what's funny? I had seen a blog that had said they don't like the fact that hip-hop artists and stuff out here, everybody's just out here becoming podcasters and stuff. And you know what? My thing is, I feel like people could just be able to do whatever they want to, but if it's not naturally in them, no, they shouldn't. They should really still go for what they really believe in as their dream and build it. And there's nothing wrong with communicating with the public. You know what I mean? But like I said, I have my degree. I have a bachelor's degree in this. You know, I'm a certified journalism, media communications, art studying, all that. You know what I'm saying? So this is my field of profession. So I'm doing it independent, and it's hard. It takes time, you know? So, but I'm not going to scrutinize other people to making a check. Really, if we really think about it, this is another subject, and I got to get off of here because I'm running out of space on here. I only got 56 minutes to talk, so I got 5 more minutes. I can fill up this last pod before. And thank you, new people. Thank you for tuning in. I see I got like 16 downloads right now. A lot of you got to download that news that I got in regards to the recent attacks here in America. I don't want to lose my train of thought. What was I about to say? Y'all, I'm a human. I think I lost my train of thought. It was something important. Oops. The heck, I clicked something the wrong way. Y'all, I'm being a mess over here. But yeah, so I just feel like there it is. That's what I was about to say. So I feel like people like rappers and stuff, the reason why so many of them are podcasts is because music doesn't sell anymore. And I feel like the entire music industry needs to be revamped. I think it's time for the musicians to take back music. You know, I seen Money Long, and she was on TikTok. I don't know if you guys seen this, but she was claiming that the people at Atlantic Records was trying to take advantage of her talent, allegedly, and having her produce records for melanated black people and saying that it's for a black person just for her to come in and see that it was not, and also trying to use her vocals to back up this person who could not sing. And it's just like, and it messing up her money and stuff. And there's so many people out here going through the same thing. There's so many people that's distributed on these apps that are not getting paid enough money. And I think the biggest way for people to really expand is we got to start investing and trusting each other. We got to take it back to the 90s where we purchased with the people that we cared about. But I think it's an fluctuation of so many people doing the same stuff. But when you rock with somebody, you rock with them. You know what I'm saying? And it's not impossible. So, I just feel like the same thing with anybody that's out there that's trying to build an overall brand and production and everything else that you do. You have to take the time and, invest in it and work at it. And I feel like a lot of you guys want to invest and distribute on Spotify. Get a Bandcamp account, and have these people pay for y'all music so y'all can pay y'all bills. It's clear that Spotify and them do not want to pay for nothing, okay? And that's the reason why, to correlate back to what Dame Dash is here, it's like he got a YouTube channel and it's cool, but I would tell him, shorten them joints up, shorten them long shows out, put it up on your app. If you want it to be free, fine. You want to do deals outside it for advertising, fine. But I would shorten those clips up. I would send them bad boys to American News. Let that be your new, your new news center, and tell people, look, y'all want to hear me talk about this? Go to American News and download it, versus him telling us everything for a whole hour and then saying, by the way, go to American News. Like, no, like if you're going to do it and you're going to talk about somebody, make sure it's fully benefiting you at the long run. Make sure that you telling people, like, look, y'all want all this. I know a million of y'all going to watch this on YouTube, but we not about to do it this way. Sometimes you just got to change up business to get better results. So hopefully, I don't think Dave Dash will watch this. I don't know. Hopefully he gets inspired, and know that people are watching him and supports him. And your past even if you have bad past, you always got a future. You got the present. And I think that things will get better for him, And I feel like for any artist that's out there that's struggling when it comes to this distributing stuff, because a lot of y'all getting taken advantage of on these apps and not getting paid, y'all need to go back to Bandcamp. And y'all need to really start getting advertising, marketing, start to figure out how to do playlisting yourself and start promoting yourself to the highest extent so you can get the money that you deserve so you can pay your bills. Stop letting these streamers play in your face, because really you are the streaming app. Like literally without your content, they don't have nothing. So I don't know what it's going to take, but maybe artists should just go on strike. And I don't know how I just got into this rant, but I literally got 2 minutes to say this. But literally, y'all gotta stop letting these apps bully y'all. Y'all gotta start taking y'all art seriously. Start, making your stuff exclusive so people could pay for it and you can pay your bills, versus you having to go on the internet and talk about people and something that you're not passionate about, something that you don't like. I'm not against old schoolers, rappers doing podcasts. That's what you're passionate about. By all means, do it. But a lot of you guys are out here doing it and it's not y'all passion because y'all mismanaged y'all business and y'all mixed up y'all passion and gave up on y'all dream. Don't come over here podcasting because you gave up on your dream. Come over here because it is your dream. You feel me? And I think that's something that I think that's why people in the comment section are going off on, Dame, because they're like, oh, I know this ain't his dream. I know he wants something much bigger. And you just gotta reach out. And the same thing for the artists out here, man. Y'all gotta really start setting the standards, and that's what Money Long did. I want to talk more about what Money Long did, but y'all can go to her page and check it out. That's pretty much what happened. She's being taken advantage of, allegedly, by her record company, and they were basically trying to finesse her for some records and her voice and everything else without showing her face. And this is old as time in the music industry. But yeah, outside of that, I gotta go. I'll see y'all in maybe about, give me like a week or so, but please keep sharing my podcast. I'm trying to build. If I'm not here, I'm on my website, djjericapod.com, for the latest news. I will catch you guys on the next show. I appreciate you guys. Y'all be safe. And once again, everything that I stated on this show is alleged. Have a good, safe new year. Love on each other. And if you guys want updates on the events that happened, the unfortunate events that's happened in the United States with these attacks, go to Spotify, Apple, and hear the Uncensored Show. I cannot post it here on YouTube. Bye-bye.